Rugby union, folks. Look, I've watched a little of it in my time, but I'm mainly a rugby league fan. I'm a passionate rugby league fan. Watched a bit of union, mostly probably international stuff, and a bit with the Barbarians. Years ago, 70s, the Barbarians when they were brilliant, and the great teams from England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, all fantastic. Watched a bit of Five Nations over the years, but tended to watch a bit more international stuff when more rugby league boys came over into the game, like Jason Robinson, Andy Farrell, and people of that ilk. And quite enjoyed it, and took a keen interest in the World Cup that England won when they won with the old kicking boots of Johnny Wilkinson. Tended to watch that and loved it. Not watched as much in recent times. World Cup just around the corner, so I'll watch a little bit of it. If England get to the real later stages, which I'm not sure they will from what I've been reading, I'll tend to watch a bit more. But I read something early on this week, well probably weekend now, that concerned me, although I'm not a massive rugby union fan. I read something saying England at the moment are struggling that much financially. I don't know if they meant rugby union throughout or just the international side of things. I don't know if English rugby union, whether they run the national team and the standard teams in the various divisions, or whether they're separate entities. But I believe the board that run the international side of things, they're saying that they're in a bit of a dire financial strait. Some are saying that is it Borthwick, Steve Borthwick, that's running things at the moment, coach wise. I think it is. I know Eddie Jones was the last guy. I believe they paid a lot of money to Eddie Jones to get rid of him, 1.5, 2 million, something like that. I think I read. I've not got the figures in front of me, but I think many are now calling for the head of Borthwick. I know they've lost a good few games of late, and from being one of the favourites for the World Cup probably 12 months ago, they're now not that close to favouritism. I think there's a good few teams in front of them. I don't think they're expected to go all the way, where in past years they have been expected to do really well. But I think I read that some are calling for Borthwick's head, and the English IU have said, no, we're going to stick with him, we can't get rid of him. But the real reason they can't get rid of him is worthy to. He's going to cost them about £3.5 million in a payoff, because his contract is that long and that lucrative, and they just don't have the money. If that's the case, it's really, really worrying. English Rugby Union's always had a good bit of money in it since they went professional. They've done a lot better than the smaller rugby league that I'm from. And internationally, they've always done fantastically. I always thought there was loads of money in the pot, but things must be going wrong there, folks. If they can't afford to pay a manager off, and they've got to stick with somebody that really is substandard just because of finances, that is a concern. Now, as I say, I only read it in passing. I don't know a lot about it. There'll be rugby union fans on here that watch the channel that'll know more than me. But if that is correct, what I've read, then it's worrying times for English IU, that is. How have they got themselves in such a sad state of affairs? Sport at the moment is booming, isn't it? I thought they had a great contract with the TV companies. Something somewhere is going wrong. I do hope nobody's had their hands in the cookie jar. It happens, folks. It does happen.